Bandidos, what up? Tux here, and today we're going to be bringing you what just might be the ultimate build for Season 3. I'll walk you through all the build details and go into exactly why. The gist of it is this: you have amazing DPS, excellent added survivability, you're providing team support, and it doesn't stop there. Your team's going to get 10% additional damage to status affected targets. You're going to be providing that status effect. On top of that, you're going to be giving them an additional 15% amplified damage to status affected targets, all while providing crowd control. This build is amazing, solo or in group, and it bangs out the most difficult content in the game. It's a very good build. Let's find out why.
Wait, did we just become best friends? So nice to meet you. I think you're cool.
Piece of shit wristwatch.
Let's start with looking at the build, and we're gonna spend some time here because there's so many fucking synergies. I'm gonna have to walk you through all of them. So the order is gonna be a little bit different than how we usually do things around here. Let's start with the modifiers because there's a lot going on here. Now, I did just do a full breakdown of every modifier in the game and provided a tier list. Rogue Momentum is the base of the modifiers, and just to give you a gist, the idea here is to build up momentum as fast as possible and then to maintain it or hold on to it as long as possible. When you get to the top tier, which is tier 5, you're basically getting overcharged for your weapons and for your skills. The concept is built off of golden bullet, so you're going to get 20% weapon damage and skill damage, 20% movement speed, 20% reload speed, and 25% rate of fire with skill overcharge. All of these are going to be important details for the build. The active modifier is called overdrive. The main reason you're going to want to run this is so that you can get to that tier 5 of the global modifier, Rogue Momentum, immediately, like right when you step into the battle, and from there it's about maintaining it, which is so much easier than earning it. And this build supplies you with all the firepower you need to maintain it really easily. On top of that, overdrive is going to kick in some bonuses to you for 10 seconds while it's active, so you're going to have 30% weapon damage plus skill damage, another 30% rate of fire, and unlimited ammo supply. The penalty, you're not going to have to worry about this, but just to touch on it, when overdrive ends, it goes on a 150-second cooldown. Not a big deal because you're able to maintain your momentum at top tier really easily. But during that time, you're going to have a 70% decrease in momentum, but because of how the build is configured, momentum is not going to be an issue. Solo or in group, legendary, heroic, whatever. There's not much of a penalty going on with this build. So this is a crit based build, so critical momentum is going to help you build and maintain that momentum super easy. You don't even have to think about it, just point and shoot. And then we have a source of heal here, critical recovery. So crits are going to restore 0.5% of your maximum armor. Just point and shoot, what you're doing anyways. Now here's the most important one. It's called microwave coils. This is a hot topic in the game. Everybody is enjoying microwave coils. It's S tier. So up to 4 enemies affected by a pulse are now receiving a burn status effect. You gain 5% bonus momentum for every affected hostile. That's a lot of bonus momentum. But what I want you to recognize here, whether it's burn or bonus momentum, is that microwave coils does not have a cooldown. There is no cooldown on this. So if you have multiple sources of pulsing targets or low cooldowns, then you are going to be reaping that field, and that's what this build does for you. To kick things off, let's talk about the star of the show, Bluescreen exotic light machine gun that recently got a buff. So last season they doubled the mag from 100 to 200, and then this season they gave it a better reload, and of course the modifiers are giving it a faster rate of fire by incredible amounts and increased reload speeds as well, which it's already at 1.88 seconds. So I have damage to targets out of cover, damage to armor, and then disruptor rounds. This is what the gun is all about. But before we get into that, let's look at the mods equipped. We got 20% reload speed, 15% weapon handling, stability, and 20% rate of fire. The gist of this weapon is basically just by tagging an enemy, you're going to mark them. The idea is to mark as many targets as possible. Then from there, it's just about building stacks. All you have to do is shoot enemies to build those stacks. When you use a skill or when an enemy dies, either by you or a teammate, it's going to trigger the status effects. So 1 to 10 stacks is going to pulse the target. So we have microwave coils. That means they're catching on fire. 11 to 25 stacks, if you have that many, it's going to pulse and disrupt. So they're going to be on fire and then they're going to be staggered. If you got 26 to 49, they're going to pulse, disrupt, and disorient. On fire, they're going to stagger and they're going to be dizzy. Finally, at 50 stacks, it's going to spread that to enemies within 10 meters. So what's important to know about the Bluescreen, if you haven't used it before, is that there's a synergy between the weapon and skills. In this case, when you use a skill, when you deploy it, when you trigger it, for example, if you hit your pulse, you are triggering those stacks at whatever state you have it at that time. The idea, of course, is to put out 50 stacks, which is going to be pretty easy because you have a 200 round mag, your elevated RPM. The backup weapon is a shotgun in case you need it, but you really don't. Okay, let's start with the gear set. This is a perfect synergy for what we got going. So it's buffing LMG damage by 15%. You're getting even more weapon handling for that faster reload and good control. And then Heart Stopper. Well, first of all, headshots apply pulse for 5 seconds. And what happens when you pulse them? They catch on fire. Remember, the weapon itself also pulses. So headshots and the weapon are going to provide pulses. And that's going to help with your Heart Stopper talent. So weapon hits on pulsed enemies add a stack of 1% bonus armor and 1% weapon damage, up to a max of 50 stacks. And then we're running the chest. That's going to double that to 100 stacks. That's 100 stacks of weapon damage and 100 stacks of bonus armor. And then we're running the backpack, which is providing an increase in total bonus armor. So it's doubling it, basically 200% bonus armor. Very easy to maintain this because everybody's pulsed. Speaking of pulses, we're running the Night Watcher mask. Very unique. This has got a skill synergy where you are able to increase your scanner pulse haste by 100%. It only works with this scanner and it's going to allow you to use it always. Because of the modifiers, this scanner isn't just a pulse, it is now a damage dealer and crowd controller. This is going to be catching them on fire for damage over time. That's going to build momentum for you. Remember, it's 5% momentum per target you have pulsed that catch on fire up to 4 targets without a cooldown. So pulse, 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 pulse. And this is also going to initiate your Bluescreen LMG's talent for even more status effects. So that's why you want really good uptime on this pulse. It's a beautiful synergy what we got going on here. Otherwise, I just want you to know everything's got crits, so I'll run through that real quickly. So we got crit damage and crit chance here. The chest has crit damage and crit chance. The backpack is armor and crit chance. The knees, armor and crit chance. The holsters, weapon damage and crit chance. We have the brand new exotic gloves called Exodus. These are amazing. So this is in case shit happens. So if they finally break through your bonus armor, these are going to kick in and heal you up amazingly quickly. It provides smoke screen. So on armor break, drop a smoke bomb. They're not able to see you. The enemies lose track of you and you heal during that time because you're considered out of combat. That's it. Super simple. They work like a dream. The other skill I'm running is the Mender Seeker Mine. This one's up to you, but I thought, hey, why not heal my team and provide more heals to myself? So this is another source of heal. You have the bonus armor coming in from the gear set. Because of the modifiers, we're critting to heal like all the time. We're running Survivalist, and this is a nice addition for your team. And that's because it's providing 10% bonus damage to targets with status effect for your team. And while in cover, gain 10% skill haste. And you want that pulse to go out as much as possible. So why not have more? And the other goodie is that you have 10% increased protection from elite. Fire grenades, and the crossbow, if you want to, is really good at breaking Chunga's armor. The reason why I'm not running gunner is because I'm running the exotic LMG and it doesn't benefit from the larger pouch. It would be helpful for ammo, but ammo didn't really seem to be an issue even in the toughest content. And armor on kill isn't really needed because I'm critting to heal as well as having that Mender Seeker. If I really needed more heals, I could put on a healing hive because we're in overcharge all the time, so that'd be really strong heals too. I did do that sometimes to help my team out a little bit more, but I like the Mender Seeker because I don't have to think about it. So I have this at 51% critical hit chance. I didn't want to push it to 60. For one, we don't need to because we only have 80% crit damage. The other reason is because you're going to get 10% crit chance bonus when you take out a marked target, a blacklisted target, and they're also going to give you 10% weapon handling. Those buffs last for 10 seconds and you're taking those guys out pretty often. So this is some legendary gameplay from over the weekend. I've been using this build a lot, so you've probably seen me use it during the live streams, but what's hopefully apparent are all of the status effects we're applying to targets. So notice the icons above their head and when and how we're triggering them. Of course, you can run the Bluescreen, even the Night Watcher mask with Striker, but I just really like the synergy that Heartbreaker brings to the concept because Heartbreaker is built on pulses, and that added survivability from the bonus armor kicks ass. Let me know what you guys think about this build. Enjoy it. It's a good one. I'm gonna be using it all season.
Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm Tuxedo Bandido, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on the good stuff I have coming for you. And if you like content like this, be sure to check out the video I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you would like me to cover, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make things possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be the same without you.
When you buy a game from Ubisoft, enter the creator code Tuxedo Bandido to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Wait, did we just become best friends?